Hello everybody, and welcome to another What Is Let's Play with me, Mecha Will. Thank you guys for dropping by my channel if this is your first time seeing it. And if it's your first time with this kind of style of Let's Play, we're going to be going through this game and really talking about a couple of things and letting you guys know as the viewers what the game is all about and whether or not you guys can take it for yourself and look at it and see if you'd be interested in picking up the game at all for yourselves. I like to utilize this to kind of show off different games that I am personally very fond of. Now, I've been waiting to do this one for a very long time. This one is on a little small game that came out a couple of years ago called Shovel Knight. And it kind of took the world by storm when it came in. I believe it was initially released in the summer months of 2014, although I may be wrong about that. Initially, it was like a PC game, and then I believe it was also on Nintendo consoles. Later on, it moved to PlayStation and Xbox, and very basically, it's a game that aims to kind of, bring back that old school, Nintendo and Super Nintendo era nostalgia of like, 8-bit, 2D side-scroller action-adventure games. And it did it so well. So this game, by this point, has sold over 1 million copies, which is, super profitable for a game of this size. And it's developed by a gaming company named Yacht Games. This is actually the first game that they developed, so you should give them all a little bit of credit here as well. The soundtrack is composed by a gentleman named Jake Kaufman, a fun dude, and he also offers his soundtrack on Bandcamp for free. So one of my points to this game about why it's so brilliant is the soundtrack is phenomenal. And I downloaded his soundtrack myself. I feel like you guys should all give it a go as well, because it really does encompass that like really fun, old school vibe that we, all know, love, and miss from back in those days. So like I was saying earlier, this game, I'm trying to aim and give you a little bit of what you do in this game. You start off as this character named Shovel Knight, which is the guy that I'm playing right now. The basic premise of the game is that Shovel Knight is on a quest to save his beloved, who got entrapped by a magical amulet in a tower far away from this location, and we're on a quest to go save our friend named Shield Knight. So, you start off having to go here, but the land has been taken over by what they call the Order of No Quarter, a sect of bosses led by the Vile Enchantress, who, it's got all this kind of nasty magic stuff going on, and it's kind of us versus her to go ahead and do the old search and rescue mission that we've all come to know and love. But with everything, it's all about the journey, not necessarily the ending. That makes these things beautiful. So this game really captures a lot of what made games back then so awesome, which is little secrets, little hidden pathways, and different things that you can find. So the game utilizes a very basic combat system. It's very much a platformer with a little bit of combat elements. You use this main shovel here that you're seeing me use right now, and you can use that to do like a vertical hit. And you can also, get certain upgrades later on in the game. So it has a lot of RPG mechanics, which is great. The upgrades allow you to upgrade your armor, upgrade your weapon, upgrade your health, and upgrade your magic supply. And magic you can see up at the top. So if you're a fan at all of some of these old school games, you'll recognize right away that the UI is super familiar. You've got your health bar up at the top there. To the left, you've got your gold, which you collect from, each individual enemy. And then, you have, like, small little platforming puzzles that are all over the place to help you out. To the right, you can see, it gives you an indicator of what the boss is at the end of the level. This takes a lot of design choices from games like Castlevania, Metroid, and that kind of stuff. So, again, you'll see a lot of that built in here. The gems are our currency, and of course the occasional turkey will pop up, and we'll consume that to get some health as well. So right now you can see that when I hit my shovel, I'm kind of running a version of the game where I have quite a few of the upgrades. So this isn't exactly how you start off, but I wanted to show off some of the finer points of the game, and that includes some of the upgrades as well. Now the game also boasts a pretty expansive amount of what they call relics. So if we open up this screen here, you can see all these different relics. They act as magical items, just like in Castlevania, where you would pick up something like the axe, or different weapons that you can use to help you out, or in Mega Man, where you would pick up certain boss weapons and stuff to help you through the level. It's the same deal. So I have all of them unlocked here, but of course as you go through the game, you'll start to earn and unlock those. So we can kind of show off what some of those look like. Now the game is mostly cut up into different levels. a la Mario. Right now we're in level 1-1, which is called the Plains level. And, you know, the different levels will be cut up into different checkpoints. So if you die, you'll lose a portion of your gold and start back at the last checkpoint where you had fought. I don't expect to be done on this level, but you can. But if that does happen, I'll show you guys exactly what that's like. The cool thing about this game, it's really a big favorite game of mine. I played this game, you know, for a long time, a couple of times through with a lot of different people, and I pretty much sang its praises ever since it came out. Got it on my PlayStation Vita, which is brilliant. So I play this thing on the go all the time. It really nailed not only the aesthetic, the music, but also the gameplay, which I think is the most important thing, you know, for a game like this. Trying to get all those, you know, different kind of goodies in it, you know, based on older games, and it did it brilliantly. You can see here that it uses a lot of in-game secrets. Again, just like that old school aesthetic where you can find different gems and, you know, more money hidden in places as long as you're the kind to explore, which I find myself doing right now. So there are different chests in the game, and the chests will, you know, do different things for you. Just basically give you loot or give you these one of these hidden music sheets around. So we'll meet some new characters. It's like I said, it's very much an RPG adventure as well. So there's definitely different NPCs that will help you out, as well as different quest lines that you can do for these NPCs. So we'll go take a look at some of those when we finish up this level here. This game would not be complete if it didn't have some sort of boss for us to take on. So we're gonna make our way over here, and we're gonna take on the very first boss of the series, which is gonna be a phenomenal treat for us. So let's get past this dragon here first. Yeah, I kind of deserve that. Cool. So why am I doing a what is on this game, you know, so late from its release? Well, it's a great question. This is a game that I've been planning to do one of these What Is series on for a very, very long time. In fact, this was kind of what sparked the initial, you know, after Binding of Isaac, which is the first What Is that you can, you know, I'll give you a little card above if you want to check out the first What Is that came out a little while ago, explaining about the Binding of Isaac. This was the next game that came in my head. It's like, I gotta tell these people about Shovel Knight. Now, for the people that already know what Shovel Knight is, which is a huge amount of you, this game, or this video is not necessarily for you, though I hope you do enjoy it as well. This is really more for the people that have no idea what this game is. And so, you know, you can see a lot of the gameplay that I'm showing off here, but also, I want you to just kind of like, take an opinion from, you know, from myself, or at least, you know, I'd like to give my opinion on it and tell you guys why I love the game so much. So besides a really unique aesthetic, you know, you see a lot of indie games going down this route nowadays. There's a lot of different 8-bit aesthetic, you know, independent games going through. This is kind of the game that started all of it. When you look back to the craze that started in the past couple of years, it was really Shovel Knight that headed it off, and it was because of the success of this game that a lot of other companies felt that they could kind of emulate what this game was already trying to do. So already it's got something going well for it. I'd also like to point out real quickly before we head into the boss battle here, the backgrounds. So the backgrounds are you know, beautifully designed, obviously, which is really cool, but they also, like, you can see different points of the game in the background, a la Dark Souls, or, you know, again, other similar games of this type and genre back in the day. So back there, you can see the tower that we actually reach at the end of the game, that dark tower that we're all moving towards, and it does, you know, correspond with wherever you are in relation to the tower, which is awesome. They also went ahead to go above and beyond about making sure the features. Black Knight, I knew you'd show your face sooner or later. The Cerulean Coward. Turn back, Shovel Knights. There's nothing here for you anymore. Stand aside, Black Knights. I have no quarrel with you. I must return to the Tower of Fate. As you can see, the Tower of Fate in the background there. So it's got some dialogue, as you can see. Our first boss and NPC fight, we have a little bit of a cool dialogue. Your time away has dulled your senses, can't you see? This entire valley has been conquered by the Enchantress, and her invincible Knights of the Order of No Quarter stand between you and the tower. But none of that matters, because anyone after the Enchantress has to go through me. So he's kind of like her watchdog. Steal thy shovel. Another thing I really appreciated about this game, like I was trying to talk about a little bit earlier, is the amount of effort that went into making this game as accurate to the story as, or I'm not accurate to the story, I'm sorry, but accurate to the games of its era, including up to, you know, putting design restrictions on themselves to make sure that it stays in with that aesthetic. For instance, one I can point out right now that I recall that they did is they made sure to only create vertical camera shake on a single axis. So when you see, you'll see when this when certain things happen in the game only shakes up and down, which is very indicative of the limitations that they were forced to have back in the 90s when a lot of these games were coming out, as opposed to now where obviously we fixed that problem. But they kind of limited themselves to that kind of thing. So we've shown off one of my favorite levels. It's the intro level. This is the level that they've been that they worked on basically for different demo purposes. This is the one they showed off, and you could download the beta and the demo and different kinds of things. And I think it was a really brilliant design choice because this is very clearly one of the most strongest levels in the game. It's not a tough level, but it introduces you to everything that this game is in a very simple set of rules, all in one encompassing level. It shows you the secrets and the chests and the different things that you can get, as well as the platforming elements without being too difficult, and then a very cool boss battle at the end. So I really appreciate the planes. I also think it has some of the best music in the game, is the intro level planes music. So I decided to show that off at first. We've unlocked all of the map here, so if you're looking for spoilers, I won't delve in too far. But basically the way the game works is once you pass different levels, as you can see, this is again a la a Mario map going on here. You'll unlock, further and further into the game until, we come across the path that moves down here, into different sections of the game. The game has a pretty hefty time to beat on it, which is nice for games like these. Independent games you don't expect to last too long, but for me, my first playthrough, I think took me somewhere around 8 hours to play through it, so it could be an 8 to 10 hour experience depending on how experienced you are in these kinds of games, but it's something I highly recommend. So the game also has a hub world, which is what we're in right now. This is what they call the village. So there's different NPCs here that you can talk to, and that will give you, certain advice about certain things, as well as just witty phrases. The last thing, another thing I'd like to mention is that the game has a lot of humor built into it. The writing is pretty on point. Sometimes a little bit cheesy, but I think that adds to kind of the splendor of the game. So I remember watching some videos on this, and that's what kind of caused me to pick up this game at first. And a lot of it had to do with this feeling of RPG, that you have like a home that you can rest at, and you can do different quest lines and stuff like that, and do different upgrades. It really enticed me as a gamer. And trust me, the gameplay is super fun and super fluid. Now, the guy I'm jumping over right here is actually the in-game avatar of the composer, Jake Kaufman. So they made him a little bard in-game that you can meet here. Hail, Shovel Knight, hero of music, what can the humble bard do for you today? And, you can find different sheets of his music hidden around the world. We saw some in the first level. They're also hidden in different kinds of chests and in different harder-to-reach locations. So this here is an example of collectibles that you'll find in the game. And once I haven't even collected all of them here. Once you collect them, you can have him play. So this is just the all-encompassing soundtrack that's here. So if you have a favorite tune that you like to play, you can have him play it here while you're going through the game. So I'm going to go ahead and play actually my favorite song while we're going through the rest of this. Called La Danse Macabre, which is, that's probably a butchering of the way that's supposed to be pronounced, but it is what it is. It's got a nice little upbeat tune to it. Feels very dark and Castlevania-like, and you'll find it in one of the stages later on in the game. So let's move through the village and meet some of the NPCs here. We have this beautiful lady over here who will upgrade your magic. So this is an example of the different upgrade paths that you can do. Here obviously it's going to cost a little bit more because I've played the game a little bit, but here we can boost our maximum magic up to 10 points. So the magic is what you see in the top corner, and it's what dictates what we can use our different different relic types for. So we were looking at these earlier. They give you a lot of different options, and they help you a lot in different situations and against different bosses. So again, lots of variety in the game and lots of different ways to take down the levels, which is nice. I'm going to slot over to the gear section here. So we'll see a couple of different things. The first one is that we have our trusty shovel. This is kind of the cuter aesthetic of this game, is the design choice to make the character that you play as a knight that uses a shovel instead of a sword. in a way, it kind of like endears him to you a little bit more because he's using such a, not a foolish weapon, but, you know, a very unique and interesting one. And this can definitely have a couple of upgrades that you can do for that path. Here he also has a nice little armor set, which they do have different armor sets in the game, and you can upgrade those in a different location we can talk about later on. Health upgrades and magic upgrades we've kind of discussed a little bit at length, and then over here, some collectibles in the music sheets, and then you know, different meal tickets will help you upgrade your, this. So, and the goat here is just another character. So we'll walk around a little bit. I don't want to spoil too much for you guys. I'd love for you guys to go out and play this game on your own. It really is such a brilliant game. But you can see we've got different types of NPCs here, which will say different things, different secrets hidden in the world as well. Again, I don't want to give away too much, but exploring does help you out a lot. You can find different things hidden around in the levels, and different salesmen and different NPCs that will be merchants to you to kind of help you out in different ways. So now that we've kind of shown off a little bit of what the village looks like, some of the secrets, I kind of want to show off maybe another level and show you guys exactly how that leveling and all those systems like there work. So we'll check out some more of these NPCs over here, which is nice. We've passed old Gandalf here with the ram's horns. And we'll show off another one of my particular favorite levels, which, you know, we'll keep it to the early game just to make it fair for the people that haven't played the game here. But, you know, going back to one of the levels that's got my favorite music in it, you guys will see a lot of the kind of Castlevania style, you know, gameplay here, as well as with the final boss, which is, again, is another brilliant boss here. So as you move through the gameplay kind of gets a little bit more difficult to be totally understood, and yeah, to be pretty much totally understood at that point, which is, you know, makes sense for the game. But the game does have, you know, an interesting way of handling, you know, difficulty. Obviously, it's just one difficulty setting, which, again, you know, a lot of games give you a lot of different types of you know, a lot of types of difficulty settings in the game. And most of the time, they're kind of useless. Some of them are just, you know, insanely hard for no reason, and then some of them are just insanely easy and give you no challenge. So I appreciate the games that give you one choice, like Dark Souls and like Shovel Knight here, to basically show you that. Here, we'll get rid of that there for a second. To basically show you that. They've put a lot of time into, you know, just playing this one version of the game. You know, all the development, all of the balances to the difficulty can all be put into this one version of the game because they know that's the version that everybody's going to be playing. So here we've got some, you know, different enemies, and you can utilize parts of the environment to destroy different creatures, which is also cool. We kind of missed that chest up there, so if you miss it, you can replay levels, but we can't go back while we're in the middle here unless we want to lose our progress. I'm going to try and do something a little bit ballsy here. With these checkpoints, another thing that you can do is actually destroy them for extra currency. But destroying your checkpoints does exactly what you expect it to. You can never go back to that checkpoint again. If I died right now, I would go all the way back to the start of the level. So hopefully we'll try and get to the next checkpoint before that happens and we don't play it so terribly. So we're going to kind of make our way around to this guy here. I found a lot of the ways to deal with the enemies in the game is to, you know, handle them if you think you can handle them, but avoid them if they can be avoided, because you don't need to waste the HP on an enemy that, you know, you're not going to get too much out of. These frog guys are a little bit annoying. As you can hear in the background, my particular favorite song from this soundtrack is playing. So like I was saying you know, earlier, there's a lot of really cool aspects to this game. You guys gotta have to, you know, excuse some of my mistakes in my language. It's kind of late over here. I've just recorded like a dozen billion videos, and so my voice is a little bit worn out at this point. But hopefully you guys can still hear the passion that I've got for this game, because it's really a brilliantly played game. I played it all the way through, and it's got a really cohesive kind of story arc. It's got pretty much everything you would need. I don't think that there's too many flaws. What I was trying to touch on a little bit earlier is that there is some really odd kind of difficulty spikes in the game, which I think is interesting. It was probably not done on purpose, but you'll find that, you know, for the most part, as a veteran, if you are a veteran of these kinds of games, you know, you'll find that the game is mostly very easy. It's definitely not made to be, you know, as challenging as the games of the past, and that's something that they've, you know, that they kind of kept out of it. It may just be a result of the day and age that we're in right now. But if you're, you know, expecting like a really difficult game or hoping for one, this one shouldn't be too tough. There are some really interesting spikes in difficulty. There'll be some sections that you'll come to them and you'll be like, ah, this is really hard when you compare it to the rest of the section in the game, which is... There we are. So we're finding our way to different points here. Now, I don't trust myself to go down here right now, but, you know, trust me, there's different things down there. This game, this level is very fun to me because it's utilizing a lot of that, you know, you can't see when it's all dark out and like kind of obscuring your vision to make the level a little bit more difficult. So there are a lot of, the game takes advantage of a lot of the different things, like, you know, pressure and weight that were, you know, different physics that you would expect in the game, and it does, every level seems to have its own unique kind of vibe to it. You'll definitely have your, oh boy. You'll definitely have your favorite levels. So we lost quite a chunk of change there, but as you can see, you know, we kind of did have to show off the dying a little bit. Once you die, you lose a large portion of your money, and you can go and get it back again, a la Dark Souls. But if you miss it on the second time, all that money, just like Souls, is going to be wasted. It kind of just never comes back. So do be careful about your deaths, otherwise you're going to find yourself with a lack of currency. Now, as far as penalties for dying, there's not too many more penalties besides just losing your money. And while your money can be a big deal, it's not the end of everything if you know, lose all of your money, lose a chunk of change. So, you know, there's some people have stated that they wish that maybe there's a little bit more of a penalty for dying to make the game a little bit more difficult. Because in general, the game is very forgiving, and there's, you know, it's pretty easy to get through again if you're experienced with these kinds of games. If you're not, it might be a little bit difficult to get through the game, but you should be able to get through it just fine. And like I said, it's about an 8 to 10 hour experience, which is very hefty for a game of its caliber. And that's kind of what I think kind of sets it apart from the rest of the group. So we can utilize different puzzle features here, again, like the pressure I was talking about earlier. And you can see the way that they side scroll as well is very, very much like the old school way that they used to do it. So over here we see different challenge sections where they can pop up in finding different kinds of chests. So besides the normal chest that will give you a lot of gold, there are chests that will, you know, you'll find the collectibles in, but you'll also find this little guy named Chester who pops out occasionally, and he'll sell you different magic items, and that's kind of how you get a hold of some of the unique magic items in the game. But you can only get to him if you know, he's normally hidden in different locations. They kind of show you, they kind of give him away in a pretty easy location here, but closer on towards the end of the game, they'll give you a little harder and harder locations onto how to do that. Back there, I think I saw a chest. Which the only way to get it is going to be to unleash that ghosty, which I didn't even make it because this frog kind of fucked me up a little bit. I am not the largest fan of the frogs, as you can see. Sometimes I like to pretend that I'm good at this game, and when the frogs come in, they show me everything that my life has turned into at this point. They show me that I'm a fraud. I'm Captain Sham. Nice little design choices. Also, another thing I'd like to point out about this game is that nothing ever becomes boring. Even though, you know, a lot of the game is simplistic, you know, it only has one, you know, like, your style of fighting does progress with the different kinds of amulets and stuff that you get, but, you know, you pretty much utilize your shovel in the same way all the way up until the end of the game, excluding some of the different upgrades you can get. And I like with its simplicity that it still gives you, like, a lot of variety through every level. Every level, like I said earlier, has something different to it. You know, something that you can kind of judge the level by. Like, this is very much a level that gives you certain things like the ghosts, which you don't find in a lot of other areas. I guess that's the last thing that I would say about the game. That might be maybe a little bit of a downside for the game, is that I did find that the game itself kind of reused a lot of enemies, just kind of recolored or retextured, or maybe with slightly different movesets, and that kind of disappointed me a little bit. I don't know if it was due to time constraints or if it's just something that they weren't able to do, for whatever reason. I imagine probably time constraints, because that makes a lot of sense. But I wish they'd spend maybe a little bit more time to have some more unique enemies throughout the level. But trust me, from what you've seen here, there's so much more to the game. So we're going to move to one of my particular favorite relics and take on the last boss, and I think we'll kind of cap the episode out here if we can defeat this guy. So this is another one of my favorite boss fights of the series. In case you guys didn't catch on earlier, we're going to be fighting what they call the Order of No Quarter, which is, it's the name of the Knights of the Enchantress. So this is Spectre Knight. Again, much like Mega Man, you'll be able to know all the different knights by name and kind of what their weaknesses are. This is no place for the living, mortal. You shall be summoned when it is your time. Don't you tell me what to do. And everyone has a time, as we saw with your beloved shield knights. All right, that's a low blow. I don't appreciate it. Lies! I won't believe such talk from phantoms. Your very existence is a vile deception. The Enchantress is just full of surprises. She granted me new life. That was a terrible Spectre Knight voice, but I'm gonna roll with it. So that I may take yours. All right. You want to take my life? You're gonna have to really give it your all there. So this guy, he's very floaty. He actually gave me a lot of trouble in my when I was facing him for the first time. Hopefully this time I won't embarrass myself with my gameplay here, and I am utilizing, some of the different. Oh, that's not good. Oh boy, some of the different magics that we have here. I don't recall if this is if you get this relic in this level, but it does really help out with this fight, because a lot of it's a ranged battle where you want to kind of keep away from what he's rolling at you. You will also summon different specters, as you can see, so the bosses do have dynamic boss fights. As you get them closer down in health, they'll have lots of different movesets, and the movesets will change up. Again, I can only say, like a la Dark Souls in different games that will utilize that kind of issue. I'm kind of getting hit by every attack. Yep, should have seen that coming. Alright, so we kind of need to relax here. Let's see if maybe we can show this guy what's what. Alright. The most unique feature of his fighting style is this little shield bop that you can do down, or I'm sorry, shovel bop. Okay, we're getting close here. Alright, where am I here? That was it. That was it. I almost had him. Okay, this is getting really tense here. Oh, and we did it. With a little bit of health to spare. It's kind of embarrassing. It is embarrassing. I will say I got hit way more times than I wanted to there. But hopefully this gave you guys a really good look at the game, and you can, again, check out the developers. Like I said, Yacht Club Games. They've done a wonderful job of expanding. They gave a free DLC called Plague of Shadows, which expanded to another storyline of one of the popular knights in the game, as well as, giving a lot of different updated content, like New Game Plus and stuff that was added post-release. And again, as well as putting them on pretty much every platform known to man. This is now available on the Wii U, the PS4, the Xbox One, the PC, the PlayStation Vita, and the Nintendo 3DS. Which you can, obviously you can find in different places on those marketplaces. So I cannot recommend enough that you should go out and purchase this game and buy it and play it. If you have a buddy and you want to, try it out before you do, make sure it's your kind of game. Perfect, buy games that you're going to be interested in. But hopefully this gave you enough impetus to go out and purchase the game for yourself, because it is by far one of my all-time favorite games of the last couple years. I think it's an instant classic. I'm really hoping for a Shovel Knight 2, and there's kind of no reason why I think you wouldn't fall in love with this game. Well, Anyway, thank you guys for dropping by. This has been my first What Is in quite a while. I will be continuing the series on a lot of different other games. So if you like what you saw, obviously liking the video helps, and sharing it around also helps as well. But subscribing for more content will notify you when more videos like these of mine show up. So I appreciate if you want to join the rest of the community that we have growing here. And I thank you guys so much for dropping by and watching my content. Anyway, thank you so much for watching the show, and I'll see you guys next time.